shop, and we have our 2 layers of Coosa made for the forward housetop. We have a layer of 1708 glass bonded to our bottom layer of Coosa. We're going to trim the edges of the glass. We're going to sand our seam and trim the edges of the glass on the top layer. And we're going to prep our vacuum bag. We're going to spread some adhesive between the 2 layers, slide it in the vacuum bag, or actually build a bag around it, and vacuum bag these things together, give us a nice solid core for the forward housetop. So if you want to go ahead and start trimming the glass, Mike, we'll then move into prepping the other layer. Alrighty. This material is our vacuum bag film. It's not really sure what the actual composition of it is. It looks like sheet plastic, but it's a whole lot more durable and sturdy, and it has it's guaranteed not to have any micro fissures in it or pores that would allow air to move through it. That way we can create a really good vacuum on the part that goes in it. This is our sealant tape, sometimes referred to as dum-dum tape. This particular one is tacky tape is the name. And it sticks to the film, allows you to make a big envelope, like a vacuum bag for doing food in the kitchen with one of those vacuum sealers. So because of the size of the film, it's about 60 inches wide. Our part is approximately 9 feet long and 8 feet wide, so we have to tacky tape this film together to create the envelope size we need. Just stick it on here, press it down real good. You just tear that off there, Mike. Or use those little kitty scissors.
My daughter's going to be upset if you don't have them.
Stole Hannah's scissors. So you can look on the back side and see if there's any spots that aren't sealed to the tape very well. They look pretty good here. Let's press it down. Go ahead and cut that off. We're putting our 2 pieces together on the dum-dum tape that we laid out, and you can push down pretty good with that roller mic, and just make sure we get a good seal between the 2. Sealed together.
Yeah.
And leave an open side to put the whole mess in.
Without tearing it.
And the 2 pieces are covered in glue.
Yeah. So we're going to have to go like this way to get it in there. We need a bigger table.
Yeah. We need a 10 by 10.
Yeah. Should we lay cardboard down on top of the wood? Maybe we can slide it in that way.
That would maybe help out. The other thing we can do is pre-tape all the edges, not peel the stuff, and just connect it on one edge, and like roll half of it up.
Yeah. Roll the top.
Leave the bottom laying here.
Mm-hmm.
Glue the piece, put the other piece on, roll it over, and then seal the tape around it.
Sounds like that's the idea.
We got to be really fast with that, though.
Yeah.
We're mixing up a test batch of our resin. We want to do this to see what our working times are going to be based on the conditions in the shop. That way we know what we're getting into and how we're going to have to work to get our part in the vacuum bag and under the vacuum we want. This is a pretty critical step in the process when you're dealing with what is potentially a very costly part with the time investment and the material investment. There's a lot of man hours in creating a vacuum bag and component of this size, so it's not really something you want to have go wrong on you. You have to know what you're working with. Spread our resin on the Coosa. This will give us an initial layer. The board's going to absorb some of this when we glue the two pieces together, we don't want to have what is called a glue starved joint, which means there's really no glue holding it together. You can see already with what we poured out how much is being absorbed into the panel. On the next spread of glue, we'll add a little thickener to it, which will allow it to sit on the surface a little better. Towards the middle. So we should be set up the right way to just put this thing over the top. Yep. Now here's the key. Try to keep the resin off of the bag, because it'll be tough to stick it once. I'm going to work this way back. Probably going to end up with a pleat somewhere where these two lines meet up. It'll take up any inconsistency. To the port in the bag. All right, so what we need to do is kind of walk around now, ensure that the bag draws down evenly. It may not hurt us actually, Mike, to go ahead and put those squeeze clamps back around the edges of the laminate. Okay, we've done some rough calculations based on the size of our top and what this vacuum bag is actually doing. We talked about how you put the bag around the material, and it's giving us a clamping pressure across the whole surface uniformly. And the way that works is on the surface of the Earth, we're at, I guess, our pressures are calculated by atmospheres. So you can say the surface of the Earth is at 0 atmospheres. If you were to, say, go scuba diving, and I believe you go to 33 feet down, you're at a pressure equivalent of 1 atmosphere, which is, I think, like 14.8 pounds per square inch. So what we've done is we have, inside our vacuum bag, reduced to no atmosphere conditions or removed about that equivalent of being like 33 feet underwater. That's at a perfect vacuum. We're not drawing a perfect vacuum. We don't need that much. We're pulling approximately 22 inches of mercury, which is equivalent to about 10.8 pounds of pressure per square inch. Now, calculating the area of our housetop, we came up with about 9,216 square inches. If it were a rectangle or a square, we roughly calculated how much we cut off the sides for the shape. It brought us down to 7,488 square inches approximately. Now, multiply that many of square inches by 10.8, and you come up with 80,912 pounds of pressure per square inch. So you spread that over our whole top, and we got 80,000 pounds pushing our two layers together evenly. There's no better way to clamp that together. So hopefully that works out in our advantage. Once our resin sets up, we'll have a very strong surface there. We have gone down the sides of the form, placed clamps on our top. That's going to pull our surface into the camber we want based on those frames we sawed out the other day and placed on the form. The idea is to just get even distribution of the shape all the way across it. So far, this looks successful. We need to let the vacuum pump run on this for a couple of hours at least. We know our gel time was somewhere between 20 and 30 minutes, but to ensure the integrity of it, we're going to let it go overnight, and then we'll pull the bag off and see what happens. We're hoping for the best on this one.
Hopefully the catenary will be perfect for the rooftop.
Yeah, I think it's going to work out. There will be some spring back, but again, we need to also add another layer of fiberglass to the top and bottom of this. And we're going to run through this vacuum bag process again on the part, because we're going to put that mahogany veneer on the underside. So when you're inside that cabin and look up, you get that really pretty finished surface. So next time we'll be opening it up, trimming it, and seeing where we're at with the top.